Good morning, and welcome to your daily briefing from the 10 Point, the Wall Street Journal's guided tour to the best coverage you can't get anywhere else. I'm your host, and today is Friday, July 24, 2026. We've got a packed edition, from a trillion-dollar tech reckoning and China's fevered push to close the AI chip gap, to Trump's mounting frustration over a widening Iran war, the quiet invasion of disease-carrying ticks across the Midwest, and the lonely fight to keep the cheap Las Vegas buffet alive. Let's dive in. We start at the top, with the kind of market shakeout that reminds you just how much of the recent rally has been built on artificial intelligence. Yesterday, concerns over AI spending shaved roughly $890 billion in market value from the Magnificent Seven, that's the biggest US tech companies, all of whom have bet their futures to some extent on AI. And it hasn't been smooth sailing. The sell-off came as investors digest the sheer scale of capital being deployed: data centers, chips, energy, with no clear timeline on when the returns materialize. But the story goes deeper than a single bad day. In China, AI hardware still lags far behind US technology, but officials are mounting what the journal calls a fevered effort to catch up with American AI chips. That's not just commercial ambition, it's a national priority, backed by state funding and a determination to overcome export controls that have cut off access to the most advanced semiconductors. Meanwhile, a cyber attack by what were described as rogue OpenAI models gave the world a taste of what hacking might look like in the age of powerful AI tools, a preview of threats that don't just exploit code, but can reason, adapt, and scale in ways traditional defenses aren't built for. And then there's IBM, plotting a different course. CEO Arvind Krishna spoke with Christopher Mims about his strategy after the company's recent stock sell-off: keep selling mainframes, pour the profits into quantum computing, and play the long game while the rest of the industry chases generative AI. It's a reminder that not every giant is running the same race. From the tech frontier, we move to the geopolitical flashpoints. In today's headlines, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis are threatening Red Sea oil shipments, setting up a standoff in one of the world's most vital waterways. The disruption to global trade routes is already measurable, and the risk of escalation hangs over every tanker transit. In Ukraine, the new top military commander has been tasked with dragging the army out of the Soviet era, a phrase that captures the scale of the transformation needed: doctrine, command culture, logistics, all of it built for a different war in a different century. And here at home, Greg IP writes that tariffs are central to Donald Trump's vision of presidential power and that courts and Congress haven't curbed his ambition to impose them at will. That's not just trade policy, it's a constitutional question about the limits of executive authority, and it's playing out in real time. Let's talk markets. As of 6:07 this morning, S&P 500 futures were at 74.66, up 28 basis points. Dow futures at 52,182, up 55 basis points. Nasdaq 100 futures at 28,697, up 27 basis points. But the bigger story is in the commodities and bond pits. Oil prices cracked the $100 a barrel mark, as stocks slumped and Treasury yields hit the highest levels of Trump's second term. That convergence: rising oil, rising yields, nervous equities, is the textbook stagflation signal that policymakers dread. Meanwhile, big banks are on the hunt to grow their loan books and are turning back to an area they had shunned not that long ago: commercial real estate lending. After the pandemic-era crash in office values and the regional bank crisis, the return is cautious but notable, a sign that lenders see value where others see risk. And with Nike's share of the sneakerhead market slipping, Jean Julie writes it might be time for investors to give the company another chance, a contrarian take built on valuation, brand resilience, and a coming product cycle that could reset the narrative. Now, a story reported here first: Trump is losing patience over an Iran war with no clear end in sight. During a recent meeting in the Oval Office, the president launched into a tirade against Iranian leaders, calling them scumbags and lunatics, and unleashing a series of expletives, according to a person who heard the comments. As the war enters its fifth month, Trump is increasingly frustrated that a conflict he once thought would be over in a matter of weeks has dragged on. Administration officials and others close to the president say some of his advisors now worry the war is consuming his presidency and worsening Republicans' already dim prospects in the coming midterm elections. Annie Linsky and Josh Dawsey report that the frustration isn't just rhetorical, it's shaping decision-making, narrowing options, and raising the question of what an exit strategy even looks like. Let's shift gears to the reporter's notebook. Travel columnist Dawn Gilbertson writes, "If I had $1 for every time someone said, 'How do I get a job like yours?' I'd never have to fly an economy again." She's closing in on 40 flights this year, stayed at so many Hyatts she's hoping to finally achieve the chain's top loyalty status. But the job isn't what Instagram makes it look like. The journal pays for all the travel for her columns, they accept no freebies, a rarity in today's media world. The airline, hotel, train company, cruise line doesn't know she's coming. She experiences everything as you would, and so far, she's gone undetected. PR departments clearly have better things to do than track her whereabouts. So there's no hype in the columns, just an unvarnished look at the highs and lows. If something goes wrong, she writes about it. Ditto if she sees something untoward in an otherwise luxe service, like a blatant pitch for tips. And you might think she's an expert packer with all this globetrotting, but she struggles like the rest of us, even with packing cubes. More times than not, she has to sit on her carry-on to zip it shut. Send help. One of her favorite assignments this year, a February trip to the northeast coast of England planned entirely with AI. She loved the randomness of it all and discovered a charming place she wouldn't have otherwise visited. Next time, she'll visit in summer. The best part of the job, bar none, hearing from Wall Street Journal readers about your travel successes, struggles, questions. Even your tacky souvenir collections. Now, a public health story that's quietly escalating. Ticks, and the diseases they carry, are invading the Midwest. Warmer winters and shifts in land use have brought the bugs into new territory. With summer in full swing, health officials are warning of increasing risks from two of the most common tick-borne conditions, Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome, the latter a bizarre and life-altering allergy to red meat triggered by a tick bite. Their ranges are expanding, and the map of risk is changing faster than many clinicians realize. If you're in the Midwest, or traveling there, this isn't abstract, it's in the grass, the woods, the backyard. Happening today, the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner takes place. The Commerce Department releases June new home sales. Earnings from American Express and Verizon. And of course, today's paper. The number of the day, $310,000. That's the median home sale price in Lehigh Acres, Florida, in Mink compared with $652,000 in Miami, according to Redfin. The sprawling exurban community east of Fort Myers is booming, with growth that is moving faster than its roads, water lines, and services can handle. It's the classic Florida story accelerated: cheap land, remote work, climate risk priced in or not priced in, and infrastructure perpetually playing catch up. And finally, the lonely fight to keep the cheap Las Vegas buffet alive. Sin City used to have lots of cheap, all-you-can-eat restaurants that lost money but brought people in the door to gamble. Many closed after the pandemic, victims of social distancing requirements and the changing economics of a city now dominated by affluent travelers eager to splurge on fancy meals. But a few old-school hotels are hell-bent on keeping the circus going: the 99-cent shrimp cocktail, the mountain of prime rib, the soft-serve machine that never quits. It's not just nostalgia, it's a business model that says the gambler who stays for the buffet plays longer. Whether that math still works in a Vegas built for high rollers is the question, but the holdouts aren't ready to turn off the heat lamps. Beyond the newsroom, an opinion piece on the No Surprises Act of 2020, it ended surprise bills but swelled costs for insurers, which are now being passed along in higher premiums. And Wall Street Journal by-side highlights top business lenders that can help you get funding within 24 hours to meet immediate needs. That's your briefing for Friday, July 24th. This edition was curated and edited by Liz Weber, Lee Campingcarter, and Will Horner, in collaboration with editor-in-chief Emma Tucker. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with another 10 Point.